So let's talk about the NDA balanced playtests that was released March 31st and was edited, I believe, Thursday last week. The biggest thing, we'll go through all of this patch notes, but the biggest thing that a lot of players, including me as a Fire Staff main, is worried about is the one-hand Fire Staff buff. Now, some are calling this a rework, but honestly, this is going to revert to how the one-hand Fire Staff E, which is called the Pyroblast, was in the past before they changed it to an aimable mechanic. Okay? So, the Pyroblast is the one-hand Fire Staff E. They are going to remove the aim rotation mechanic. So right now, with your Fire Staff, you can aim anywhere. That's what they're calling the aim rotation mechanic, right? So now you can press E and re-aim your Pyroblast. All right, and they're taking that out in favor of the old style of the one-hand Fire Staff. We don't have the Fire Staff yet on the test server, but basically, it's a bigger Q1. So this is our Q1. This is a bigger Firebolt. So it will look like this. It's auto-targeted now. You don't get that freedom to aim wherever, but it gives you now the opportunity to auto-target an enemy. So there is no chance for you to miss your Pyroblast anymore. It does say here, now it's a targeted ability that always shoots the projectile towards the targeted enemy. The good thing is that the projectile can still be body blocked or dodged with a blink. Now, you can still use like the dodge roll for immunity. There is, as they said, the blink. If you are immune to damages, you can just get out of range. Not really get out of range, but time it so that when the projectile is about to hit you, you can blink and you will receive no damage, okay? The targeting range is going to get nerfed from 24 meters to 15 meters. So it is getting shorter, but still farther than the 12-meter range of the Firebolts. Increased projectile speed and hitbox, which is another buff. This is one of the things that, again, this entire buff is just worrisome because they are also increasing the first tick, the channel duration damage, to 300, similar to the second tick. As of right now, a tier 6 Fire Staff full spec deals 791 for the 0.4 cast time. Now they are in the next patch going to make it so that the damage of the 0.4 is going to be equivalent to the 0.8, which is 989. That means there is no benefit, really. There's not much benefit in full casting your E. It's all going to be quick cast E's right now with automatic targeted skills. And the biggest thing is that the damage is no longer reflectable. You cannot reflect the damage anymore, which is insane. The biggest counter to Fire Staffs, especially the one-hand Fire Staff, is that if you can time this Pyroblast perfectly with a Hunter Hood or the deflecting spin on a spear, you can deal significant damage to a Fire Staff user and stop them in their tracks. Now, the damage cannot be reflected anymore. So you're just going to have to sit there and just take 900 damage before resistances and just sit there. You can't really do anything. Can't really do anything anymore except if you dodge it, if you blink away from it. But still, this is very, very broken. I truly hope they don't bring this to the live server because it is mind-boggling how broken this skill is going to be. Fire Staff, though, again, with the Infernal Staff, it no longer silences. So after the cast, targeted enemy gets now feared for 0.75 seconds, but immune to fear after catching the fire once. So the Infernal Staff right now silences enemies. Now they fear enemies. They also, again, remove the silence effect trail. Instead of the flame trail, now fears 0.75 seconds. So no longer silence, it now fierce. It's more of like a rework, in my opinion, more than anything. But I can see this working like 2v2 Hellgates maybe. Improve hit detection of the flame trail on the ground and immunity against trail hits is 0.5 to 0.8. The Frost Lance is going to get some buff. It now will have a 0 cast time, which is pretty cool. The Frost Staff has been out of meta for quite a bit. They did bring them back to the meta for like 2 weeks last year, like August probably. And hopefully this time the Frost Lance, which is one of the best skills in terms of the skill shots, very powerful as well, now has 0 cast time. Hopefully that makes it so that the Frost Staff actually comes back to the meta. For daggers, by the way, the Deadly Swipe is energy cost increases to 9 from 7 and energy gain on hit from 4 to 6. Not a very big change there. The Forge Hammers are actually going to be nerfed quite significantly. The slow strength, instead of 50%, goes down to 20% now. For maces, defensive slam on all maces now increases crowd control resistance by 0.2. Range is increased, hit delay is decreased, stand time is decreased. So overall, just a minor change. For Sacred Ground as well, the duration has been nerfed by 1 second. For the helmets, you got some displacement immunity. For the Night Helm, does not increase crowd control resistance anymore. Not a very big change, but again, Night Helm skill already gives you like immunity to crowd control anyway. So Hellion Hood cooldown from 60 seconds to 40 seconds. Now I'm actually interested in what players can create with the Hellion Hood now only having 40 seconds cooldown. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The Avalonian Beam for the Cowl of Purity. It says here the beam now expands much faster. I don't know how much faster that is. And increase the hitbox size. They did not specify. But the stand time has been halved. The Cowl of Purity is going to be the choice now over the Fire Mage, which has been nerfed in the previous patch. The armor, the Mistwalker jacket. The caster is now slowed by 20% while turned into Cloud Mist. And energy cost now is 16% instead of 9%. This is a pretty significant debuff, I would say. Pretty significant nerf. Because now you will have players that are actually slowed. They cannot use the Mistwalker jacket to immune themselves from any damage whatsoever and still stick to you. They can, however, still use any sprint ability on their boots to increase their speed. But at least they are getting that 20% slowdown. Plus, the biggest change is it now costs 16% health. Now, the Cleric Robe cost is 20%. This was one of the biggest change in the past because Cleric Robes have been like notorious and very powerful in the previous versions of the game. They made it so that if you use a Cleric Robe, yes, you'll get the immunity, but it will cost you 20% of your energy. They're going the same route with the Mistwalker jacket because of how powerful it is. And I like that. I like the fact that they are actually nerfing one of the most annoying builds or most annoying items in the game. And very effective, honestly. It's very, very effective. It's been used in like Mist's corrupted dungeons in a very effective way. But I'm just so glad that they're actually nerfing this. Sandstorm for the Bridgewatch cape. They have reworked the ability. Now activates when you cast your E slot ability. If you guys are not familiar, this activates with normal attack in this current patch. So this is a good rework. The effect is it creates a 5-meter sandstorm aura surrounding the caster. So it no longer actually leaves a sandstorm where the normal attack was initiated. It now creates a sandstorm aura around the caster itself. So it follows the caster now. It slows unmounted enemies around the caster by 20%. So this can be used for more for like a one-shotty builds. I can see this being used in a one-hand dagger in 2v2 Hellgates. One-hand dagger as well for like Mist. It's a lot of uses here, actually. Reduces the crowd control resistance by 0.2, but the duration is now 6 seconds instead of 5. So an additional second there. Sometimes that 1 extra second is all you need to get a kill. And they are buffing and reworking the Bridgewatch cape. Mark of the Raven for the Morgane Cape. Cape now activates at cast start of an E slot ability. When casting Meteor, the Cape will now activate at the cast start and speed up the remaining cast time. Ah, so you can use this for like the Brimstone already. You just need to cast your E, and if you have a Morgane Cape, it's just going to make it so that you cast faster. That is interesting. That is interesting. I like that. I like that change. The Undead Cape's invisibility duration reduced by 1 second. Hopefully that combats some of the Mist gameplay that we have been seeing in the Mist. Also, one of the biggest change now is that you can no longer use mounts in Crystal Arena. So to those who are a fan of ratting, just using fast mounts going round and round and round, you can no longer use mounts in arenas. That should make for a better, I would say, better play style and more brawls rather than just, capping the runes. And also, there was a bug from last time where when you turn invisible, when you start capturing a runestone and it's become invisible, you can actually still capture the runestone without being interrupted. But now, the runestone will be cancelled if the caster is invisible, invincible, and not targetable. So this not targetable thing is from the Mistwalker jacket, I believe. You can activate Mistwalker jacket and capture the runestone and basically not get cancelled while capturing, which is pretty good. But the biggest change really, and I really hope they don't go through with this, the damage that cannot be reflected is just insane. If they can actually just take this out, if they make it so that it can still be reflected, I think it will not be a big of a change. But now that it cannot be reflected, I think it's going to just break the game, honestly. And I really hope they don't go through with this. I really, really hope they take this out. Hopefully. Maybe.